Good morning, folks. Welcome to BKP Politics. I'm your host, BKP. Veterans Day. First of all, we want to honor and thank all of our veterans out there before we get started. Now, we're going to immediately open up with a guest this morning. He's been called the number one Trump defender. Okay, the president of the United States has several times referred to him as a great fighter, a very good friend, and now he has the role in the Donald J. Trump for President Georgia recount. He is the team leader, Congressman Doug Collins. Congressman Collins, welcome this morning.
Good morning, Brian. It's good to be with you.
Thank you for being here. Let me start out by saying it's a very rural county, which you know it too well in your district. I went down to Pickens County Republican Party meeting last night. The room was full in this little county. It was overwhelmingly packed. People want answers. People had come from several surrounding counties because it was the first Republican Party they could find meeting, and they're looking for answers. Let me ask you immediately, you and David Schaefer, let's start with this. You and David Schaefer, the Georgia GOP chair, you being the Georgia recount team leader, you sent a very long letter, both of you, to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. Can you summarize for our audience what are some of the bullet points in that letter you've asked the Secretary of State, and has he responded, and what's going on with that?
Yeah, I can. I'm gonna sum it up pretty good. No, some of the stuff we asked for was simple stuff that we should have already had or need, and those are, the final the final vote sheets from November 3rd, so we would know who all voted, and we can cross-reference those things with as we move forward, and also to find irregularities, things like that. The other thing, the biggest issue that we're asking for, and I'm hoping that we'll find out today about this, is we're asking for a full hand recount for the president, and because we believe that way we can look at the ballots. We have the paper ballot. There's no need to simply run them through a machine again. We can now take it out. Each county can do this. It can be done fairly quickly. And I think at the end of the day, whatever the result turns out, I think it's going to be very favorable. But at the end of the day, then everybody in Georgia can have assurances that this is what happened. This is how the election went. And we're going to continue that fight. So hopefully today that's the big key today is the hand count of the ballots.
What are you looking for? Let me ask you that. I understand if a standard recount is just running the ballots back through the machine, you're asking for a hand recount. What are you looking for? And let me put this into play also. I know on a daily basis around the country, and you're zeroed in on Georgia. The media keeps saying without evidence, no evidence of. And what evidence, or what do you think you will uncover by looking at hand ballots? What do you think you will see?
Well, I think there'll be some, there's the issue of, marks. There'll be issues of ballots that have, provisional. There'll be some other issues on why or why not they would go through, making sure that they're marked properly, making sure they're run through properly. I think those are some of the biggest things, but also the numbers that we also asked for comparison data, where people had said that they got to the polls and they had said that, and these are two separate tracks here, but when they got to the polls and said, no, you've already voted, and they said, no, we didn't. And then they had to cast provisional, was those provisionals actually counted? The hand ballot recount allows us to take each individual ballot, look at that, the counter, there's a chance to challenge. Those are the issues that we'll be looking at to see make sure it's a properly marked ballot. Is it something that needs to happen? And then we can be assured that the count matches what was actually told to us. Now, the question will be at the end of the day is what those two counts look like. And again, this is something that frankly, Democrats, independents, as contentious as this election is across the country, Georgia could be the one in which we look at these ballots and we see, okay, this is what happened or didn't happen. And people can have assurances that this is, what needs to happen in our elections all the time, or they can find out that, look, there were some serious issues and we need to correct them.
I'm glad you brought that up. And the number one, I got two messages last night. In that meeting I spoke of last night, there was about 4 people that had stories, different accounts of going to the poll and being told they had already voted. And you just brought that up, and that's widespread across the state. Are we going to be able to see if the provisional ballots that they had to cast, because it showed who cast their vote, are we going to be able to clarify some of those things?
Those are all the investigations that we're doing right now, and people, as we go forward, we're asking, that people bring forward those stories as we go, and that's really what we're trying to make sure of. Because one of the things here, and I'm going to switch the gears just a little bit, and this is something that needs addressing, Brian, for going forward, and that is that we've had some serious, whether people realize it or not, serious changes to our election processes made by this Secretary of State through consent decrees and some other issues that have basically gutted the provisions of signature matching on absentee ballots, the distributions, things like that. So these are all things that need to be addressed and looked at so that we can show, okay, this was a problem. Here's the issue that we need to deal with. So the legislature in January can take these up. I think the problem you have right now is, anything done in the middle of an election would be subject to a court, probably a court challenge and also a court, stay. But there's two things to happen here. We got to prove, if there's problems now, we have to prove those problems now, but also have to look at it in the future because, look, these elections are not just every, 10 years. These are every 2 years, basically. We got to make sure that our elections in Georgia are safe, secure, and that we're not allowing voter, fraud or intimidation or anything else to come in.
Let me ask you this: in the letter that you and Chairman Schaefer sent, we're limited to time, but I'm looking at number 4, and this stuck out to me yesterday. Trace the chain of custody of ballots from printing to sending, from receipt to counting, to document that the ballots being counted were cast in a legal manner, conforming to the chain of custody of all ballots. Explain what you're asking for there when you say chain of custody of ballots.
Yeah, and actually that could be the easiest one, Brian, because all that simply says is how do you handle the ballot from the moment you receive it printed to the end till you actually report it. And cases in which you see, we had a case in Chatham County in which we had ballots that were not valid ballots, they're not legal ballots because they were returned after 7 p.m. on election day. Well, we found a case of an elections person in Chatham County who had where they stored those was in an open box in an unlocked office behind his desk. And there's no real way, and from a legal perspective, being a lawyer, chain of command or chain of custody says that you have direct responsibility and safety at every level to make sure no one else except those who are supposed to access those ballots can access those ballots or access the evidence, if you would, from a legal standpoint. So that's all we're simply saying is saying what other things put in place, were they followed? If they were not followed, how were they corrected? And that's a simple answer that should be fairly simple for the Secretary of State and the Board of Elections to answer.
Well, I understand when you say simple, and I respect that, but when I read that, I think about the I call it a hoax. Okay, I do, or kind of the water main break at 10 p.m. and then all of a sudden everybody scurried, which we know that did not really stop counting. And then the tweet that Chairman Schaefer put out saying that Fulton County elected officials said, we're going home, we're turning off the lights, we'll meet back here at 8 a.m. Republicans went home and they continued to count. So these are some of the things that we're seeing out here that we're wondering. And also, before I turn it back over to you, between DeKalb County and Fulton County alone, just those two counties, there's 63, I think 63 off the top of my head. I call them Democrat vote calculators, boxes, okay? 63 in just those two counties. Are we going to get an audit trail on how those were handled, where those ballots went to and opened?
Yeah, and look, you're providing meat to the skeleton that I just put out there, and that's exactly why I wanted to make it, in two simple. Everybody needs to understand why we're asking this, and you just provided the evidences of saying this is where chain of custody seemed to be broken. Okay, so that our two analogies are perfectly aligned with each other because you're putting meat on what I described. And yes, there is concern, about when you tell people to go home and then you count for 3 hours. What's even more concerning is Fox 5 actually had they knew of this, videoed of it. My understanding, they had the evidence that they were doing this, and yet wouldn't report it, and then wouldn't even allow their reporters to give an affidavit that it was happening. So look, there's a lot of issues from the last little bit, but again, that's why we're asking the questions. That's why the president asked me to make sure it was done legally, forcefully, and by the book. And that's what we're doing. That's all we're simply asking for. And I've told almost every media outlet I've had, this has nothing to do with sour grapes. It has nothing to do with worrying about, the win or loss. It has everything to do with, at the end of the day, the people in Georgia and the people in the country need to be assured that the most sacred thing we have, our vote, is being done properly. And that's what we're doing. And I think we can get to that process here. And also, I believe what this has highlighted for me and for some others is that, especially on the state level, there are things that need to be done, and we've got to. The General Assembly has to take this up. They've got to be held accountable to take up election issues when they get back in. That should be one of their top priorities.
I really have two things. I know you have to go, but I want to wrap these up. I got a list of questions this morning from several viewers, and I want to put them all together into one actually that's out there that people are asking. There's accounts on the internet, we're trying to filter through, false or real. Biden-only ballots. Georgia received 96,000 ballots. So this is just in a question that was sent to me. Ballots that are marked Biden only. Dominion software glitches. How much of this enters into the reasoning why the president's team here feels there needs to be a recount? Is there going to be questions concerning software glitches and how ballots were filled out, especially like this I'm bringing up?
Yes, I mean there will be. All these need to be looked at. These are reasons that we're trying to make sure that the ballot is hand counted. You take a hand count of these ballots. You take it out of any machine. You take it out of anything else. These will be triple checked as they get counted. The countings have to match so that we all agree that these 30 batch of 30 ballots all said the same thing, and you move on. So that takes it out. But yes, there are other concerns that have come up. The one thing I will caution people on is find what they know is issues like, if they showed up and they saw it firsthand. What we have found is that sometimes people can look at numbers and they're quick to throw out a large number, and yet we have had many instances already where people say, well, look, a large number, hey, these are all wrong. And then when we dig into it, we find out that number is not anywhere close to what the number originally has. So what I'm asking people is give us the examples that you have, especially we've had some issues down in South Georgia that have been brought to us on, how these can be, issues that we're going to be following up on. We have, and again, never forget, we got two runoffs in Georgia here in the next little bit. And I bet most Georgians would not be able to tell you that on December 1st, Bubba McDonald has a statewide runoff.
I was just going to mention that, not to interrupt you, is there's a difference in a state election and a difference in the federal runoff, and they're not on the same day.
No, and I don't understand it. That was one I've never understood. So I would love to get some clarification. Maybe the General Assembly and others will be talking about that as we go forward. Because I just don't understand how because the same reason was given for that, and that was the military ballot. Well, if you can get a military ballot in within 3 weeks or 4 weeks on a state election, why does it take 9 weeks on a federal election? And so there's again, all of these are now up in the air. We've now had another 4-year election cycle, if you would, for president. We're trying to make sure that every vote for Donald Trump is counted properly. We believe every legal vote should be counted, and any illegal vote takes away from a legal vote. And that's the simple focus that we're on right now. And with these other issues that come up, it provides opportunities to either correct them on the spot or to say, no, the law needs to be corrected so that we don't have this happen again. And that's what we're going to be focused on, Brian.
Quickly point out one or two or some of the people on the team that's working with you here and some of the attorneys involved. And if you see that some things we're talking about look to be future legal challenges. So can you give us just a little bit of the team, what legal lawyers are involved, and wrap up? I know this is it. Wrap up with, are you going through all this effort if you don't think there's a possibility that the president won Georgia? That's what people really want to know. So could you answer those two things real quick before we go, sir?
Well, I'll answer the first one, the last one first. And I do believe, I think going through this is good. And I do believe that the president, there are votes out there that were not counted or that have been overstated. So we're going to see what that happens. But the only way you can do that is to get to a recount and get to one that we believe is the hand recount. the other one is it's just folks. Look, Sonny Purdue's been down here helping with us as we go forward. Others that have been dealing with the lawyers, and one of the things is, these are folks that are good. I'm going to leave they're working diligently behind the scene, and there's a lot of folks as we saw yesterday on the left and everywhere else trying to out our attorneys and everything else, and we're just going to leave them where they are. But they're folks who've worked on Georgia politics for years. The Georgia Republican Party, David Schaefer, others are being very helpful in this as well. And look, I'll make my last plea is this: is in the next few days, we will need people who are willing to be trained to be a part of two things. Number one, we're going to need we're going to need folks who will help with the recount. That's the actual recount part, and you have to be trained. We have to talk to you. That's not just show up one morning and say, I'll do this. We need to get your name. So call the Georgia. There's a line I know has already been set up with the Georgia Republican Party. You can look at that. Also, we're encouraging because there's such a there's just a push right now because of the elections, both runoff elections and everything else. I'm encouraging your listeners, and you've got a great group of listeners. If you can, please contact your local elections department and volunteer to be, or ask to be, a poll worker. And it's just simple poll worker for the next couple elections. They're going to need all the help they can get to run the elections while we're in the background doing these recounts. So if people can be poll workers, I would tell them to go and apply to be a poll worker at their election office so that we'll have plenty of opportunity so the runoffs will run smoothly. At the same time, in the background, the professional election staff are having to deal with this runoff.
How long do you expect this recount to take, and do you expect to hear back from the Secretary of State today?
I expect to hear back today, and also if we get this runoff in the way we're looking at it, it should all be done in a matter of days, and it'll all be done before November 20th when he is statutorily required to report.
Thank you, Congressman. We know you got a lot to do. We appreciate you staying a little over. Thank you very much for always talking to our listeners.
Thanks a lot, Brian. Take care.
All right, folks, that's Georgia Recount Team Leader, Congressman Doug Collins. Again, the Donald Trump for President, Georgia Recount Team Leader, Congressman Doug Collins. I want to, before I go to commercial, I want to apologize to any viewers out there that have sent me questions. I've got them here. We're going to start looking at them. We're going to stay on top of these questions that you have. We know you have questions. And right here, we're going to stay on top of this every day to bring you. My concern, I don't want to say biggest concern, you heard the congressman say that I was going right down the road of what they want to talk about, the custody of ballots. I am still taken back by 63, I think it's 63 ballot boxes just in 2 counties alone. I want to know how all those ballots were handled. I'm your host, BKP. We'll be right back after this. We're going to break down that interview. And can you move to Georgia and just vote and then leave? Can you? Democrats it's a game plan right after these messages.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is more than just your average Ace. We have a huge selection of Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next trip. We have a huge selection of lumber for your next building project. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs. Plus, we have everything you'd expect like paint, tools, and equipment.
Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hey, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Welcome to BKP Politics. How are you today? Happens to be Wednesday morning. You know, the media wants you to conform to their reality. And they're very upset that you and I are questioning anything at all. Computer glitches, thousands of ballots that only have Joe Biden's name on. Hurry, just get the Biden marked in. Let's get them scanned through. This is what we need. The thought that the algorithm at 11 o'clock at night tabulated what they needed for Joe Biden to win. I mean, you know, I get the messages from Democrats that, you know, they call me crazy and, you know, and my theories and so on and so forth. But I should be allowed to question, and so should you. You should be allowed to question the legitimacy of this last election, what computer system we use in this election. Is it flawed? Who handled the ballots out of those 63 boxes in 2 counties alone? So as we are to, is it capitulate? I'm not for sure what it is, but we're to lockstep with their way of thinking. Let me say this. We'll get back to the presidential race in a minute. First of all, don't you think it's too soon to try polling? Now, I want you people out there to see, because obviously this audience is largely made up of, I think, 99% of this audience. I don't know that Democrats make up 1% of the audience. But if so, it would be right in the margin of an official recount. But 99% of this audience, I would say, feels Donald Trump is still president, obviously, legally, will be president for a second term, and did win Pennsylvania, Georgia, maybe even Michigan, maybe Wisconsin, Arizona, maybe Nevada, after all the fraud is exposed there by the Harry Reid machine out there in Nevada. Don't you think it's too soon for polling? Get ready. This is a shocker. Shocking, it comes from MSNBC, and it's an Ipsos Reuters. Now, these people couldn't get nothing correct during the election, because always remember, when you're hearing the pollsters were wrong, no, they were not. According to their samples and what their intent was, the pollsters in this election were correct. Well, you're wrong about that. They had Biden up 17 points in Wisconsin the day before the election, and it's around 1% or maybe even a little less. No. The polls were correct according to what the pollsters and the polling companies wanted to accomplish. Okay? Never listen to anyone on the Democratic side talk about voter suppression and intention to manipulate an election like Russia and Iran outside of what happened in this country internally. Internally. That should be a crime in itself. So the polls were correct based on their intent. They didn't miss it. All of the people are given, how did they miss it this time? Let's break down how they missed it. Bull, S-H-I-T. They didn't miss it. Okay? They were accurate in being complicit to try to manipulate an election, is what these pollsters did. Now, here's the next manipulation they want to attempt. And it's like, really? You're going to try to tell us this? Give me number 59. I know I went on and on and on. 59, okay? 59. Look at this right here. Americans believe Biden won. Bullcrap. They do not. They don't believe it. 79% of Americans believe. See, this is 400. The sample is really small down there in the corner. 469 U.S. adults. margin of error between 5%, 5 or more. 469 of just U.S. adults. We just picked 469 U.S. adults. 79, but they put this major thing out here. 79% believe Biden won. 13 not yet decided. But it's not yet decided. Then we have the 5% don't know and the 3% that are hardcore. Trump won, but 79%. Everything the media is doing in their reality is to convince you there's no reason whatsoever. They tell you every day the vote count won't change. Well, you can do this and that. The vote count won't change. Folks, I do believe the vote count won't change. I really do. I don't believe it will change. Because they have the votes. The illegal votes, the corrupt votes, they have them. So if you do a recount, just a recount alone, Biden's still going to come out the winner. If you do a recount alone, Trump's going to get, 1,000 more votes, 800 more votes. And the media is going to come and laugh at us, you and I, and say, all right, recount gave Trump 350 more votes. Are you happy now? They're going to laugh at us. They're laughing every day. They're talking about Biden already having talks with world leaders. Biden getting us back in the Paris Climate Accord, getting us back in the Iranian nuclear deal, getting us back in good favor with our European allies. Oh, don't you just cringe? Just the chill bumps knowing we're going to be back in good favor with Angela Merkel. Wow, we can't wait, Joe. We can't wait to be around the world kissing ass everywhere we go and giving our tax money. World Health Organization, how can we give our money to you? The World Trade, listen to this, right? The World Trade Court, right? The court for world trade. Donald Trump single-handedly dismantled. Do a search on how many cases we have won, Americans have won in the World Trade Organization's court. Fair trade to court. Donald Trump dismantled that court and rebuilt it just like the American court, and we're winning cases. But Joe is well on his way if the deep state prevails and kissing Europeans' ass and saying, oh, we can't win. And the Europeans are just lining up for it. I want to be next. I want to be next. Little guy over there in France, right? I want to be next. The little guy in Canada says, I'm close. You could stop up here and kiss my ass first. I better get past that. Moving along. But this is a little too soon. Let me talk about what I really wanted to bring to you this morning. This guy here, well, he's come up with an idea, and it started resonating, okay? So a couple days ago, the Yankster, number 3, can't you use the word Yang like his name? I mean, I know I'm going to be called all kinds of racist names because of this, but you can have like a whole afternoon of Yang this and Yang that. Well, the Yang, Andrew, we'll call him, Yang, a couple days ago, he said, I'm moving to Georgia to help with the runoff, the Democrat. I want to help John Ossoff and Warnock, Raphael Warnock, be the next senators, and we can get control of the Senate. So my wife and I, we're moving to Georgia to help. And then people said, can you do that? Let's just say I leave San Francisco, fly into St. Simons, grab one of those really ritzy condos for a week. Could I go cast my vote and then leave town? Can I go all through the mountains and buy up every single opening in a cabin possible, fly people in, have them stay there a week and vote? Huh. Can they? So the Yang comes in, and here it is, number 8. All right. Andrew Yang announces move to Georgia to help Democrats with Senate runoff. Nice little story here in the, I think it's the Wall Street Journal, number 7. Thinking about moving to Georgia to vote in runoffs? Better hurry and plan to stay. Now, the plan to stay is just a baseless, empty threat from the Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger. The 2 Senate runoff races underway in Georgia give Democrats a chance to flip seats currently held by Republicans, and some activists on social media have discussed the prospect of moving to the Peach State to vote in January 5th elections. It's just not a social prospect, any media prospect anymore. It's in full swing. It's an operation. People are talking all over about people calling, wanting to rent apartments, rent their houses, whatever. Do whatever. They're on their way. Former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang already announced on Twitter that he and his wife are moving to Georgia to campaign for Democratic candidate Raphael Warnock, and Jon Ossoff against Republican Senators David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. He did not say whether he planned to register to vote in the state. All the chatter raises questions. Is it legal? I'll tell you, the chatter's out there. Is it legal? Well, here's the answer. Is it legal? Number 4. The answer is yes. I'll take, can I move? No, too soon. The answer is yes. But any potential voters would have to move quickly since the last day to register for the January 5th is December 7th. Pack your bags. And the new resident also would have to stay in the state for a while or risk getting into trouble. Risk. Yeah, there's what we got. We got a Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger. Why, he is serious. You risk getting in trouble. You're back in San Francisco. Who's on the phone? Yeah, this is the investigator from the Secretary of State's office. We show that you came and voted. Yeah, okay. I'm busy. Boom. Under Georgia law, anyone with a legal primary resident in the state can register to vote with their county board of elections. The law does not specify at any specific time or limit. Now, no time or limit, doesn't specify. Now, I'm for sure Democrats out there want to close this loophole because they don't. I'm for sure Georgia Democrats out there, and you know who you are. You want to close this loophole because the last thing you want is somebody coming in and affecting the outcome of our election and, it being figured being a legal election. You don't want that. Why, you Democrats are the ones that are mad at me because I talk about ballot harvesting like you don't know what takes place. Because I'm for sure you're against ballot harvesting. I'm for sure you're against buying absentee ballots. I'm for sure you're against registering people to vote knowing they will never vote and then maybe ending up with their absentee ballot at an opportune time. You're totally against that, Democrats. I know that. You want upstanding, legal, that cannot be challenged elections, the integrity. I know that because you Democrats want to save this democracy. So I'm for sure you're out there and you're calling your Democrat state representatives now and your Democrat state senators in Georgia, and you're saying you need to demand a special session and stop this. This would not be right on all levels. I know you are. Would the word be facetious? I don't know. Under Georgia law, anyone with a legal primary residence in the state can register to vote with their county board of elections. The law does not specify a specific time limit. A spokesman for the Georgia Secretary of State's office, which oversees voter registrations, declined to comment on how quickly someone could establish legal residency in Georgia. They got a call down at the Secretary of State's office. Hey, if I move Monday and I'm here and, and I go and do the whole registration thing by Wednesday, can I vote 2 Thursdays from now? Hold on a minute. Hold on. Hold on. We never had that question. Hey, I got a question here. He was slow. Which oversees the Georgia spokesman for the Georgia Secretary of State's office, which oversees voter registrations, declined to comment on how quickly someone could establish legal residency in Georgia, but cited state law that it is a felony to vote in Georgia elections if you are not a legal resident or if you are residing in the state briefly with the intention just to vote and move away. Well, now that's all we got time for in Georgia is line all these people up and find out their intention. I intended to stay. Yeah, I needed a new set of tires. My brother-in-law back home, I got them for free. I intended to stay, but I had to go home. What the hell? Okay, I'm the judge here. What was your intentions when you got here? I was intending to stay, Your Honor, but I couldn't find a job. I went to 3 job interviews, stopped and voted. I said, hey, you know what? Bada bing, bada boom. I better go back. The old job wasn't as bad as I thought, but it wasn't my intention. I could see that, young man. Go on back to San Francisco. I mean, I know you say, why are you mocking this? What the hell? Because here's what I know. I know Democrats must be really up in arms in the state of Georgia saying we cannot allow this to happen. But let's just say the Democrats are not. Let's just say Democrats decided, you know what, we're going to pass on this. We're going to leave it up to the Republican Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger. And let's leave it up to the Republican governor, Brian Kemp, because he couldn't screw this up any more than it already is. It's not possible. So let's go to number 9. And number 9 says, Georgia leaders reject calls for special session to change runoff voting rules. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp said Tuesday he won't call a special legislative session to tighten residency requirements for the January 5th runoff, despite the pressure from some supporters of Donald Trump to make it harder for new residents to cast their ballot in the consequential election. He and Georgia's top 2 legislative leaders, Lieutenant Governor and House Speaker David Ralston, released a joint statement that threw cold water on any idea that lawmakers could overhaul voting rules to close the twin runoffs that rules this close to twin runoffs that should determine control. Any changes, this is the statement, any changes to Georgia election laws made in a special session will not have any impact on the ongoing election and would only result in endless litigation. Okay? So let me answer your question. All right, so are you telling me people from Georgia are not the only ones that can vote here? Are you telling me people can just move to Georgia, register to vote, a couple days later just leave? Are you telling me that? Now you tell me what in the world. Our state is Republican. What in the world's that Brian Kemp, Jeff Duncan? What in the world's Brad Raffensperger? All Republicans. What in the world are they going to do about that? Now they're going to do something to put a stop to this. Nothing. That's the answer. So let me sum this up before I take another break. You can move to Georgia, stay an unlimited amount of time. I don't know, 3 days, hit the links, play some golf, couple rounds, let your wife do some shopping. Oh my God, that was sexist. Why is a guy playing golf and the wife's going shopping? Okay, she can go play golf, he can go play shopping. I don't care. He might need loafers. But that being said, can you move to Georgia, stay a couple days, vote, and leave? Because the laws are very vague and there's no specific time limit? Yes, you can do that. What will Republicans that control every constitutional office in the state of Georgia do about it and put a stop to this travesty that could cost us the power majority in the Senate? Nothing. There you go. Take a break. I've got Serenity Now. Take a break.
If you want big Chevy discounts, Days Chevrolet in Jasper gets it done with savings of $8,000 on new Chevy Equinox or up to $10,000 savings off new Silverado crew cabs. We're big on discounts and even bigger on customer service. See Days Chevrolet in Jasper, where new Chevys always cost less. Days Chevrolet, Days gets it done. Find new roads.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, 1 nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is more than just your average Ace. We have a huge selection of Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next trip. We have a huge selection of lumber for your next building project. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs. Plus, we have everything you'd expect like paint, tools, and equipment.
Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. 2 hours a day. You're watching BKP Politics, 2 hours a day. November 11th, number one. Give me number one. Veterans Day. Let me start our 9 o'clock hour. We got a couple minutes before 9. Honoring all who served, saying thank you, veterans. Thank you, Veterans Day. Very important. Don't let it pass. Post it on social media. Call your friend. Thank you, veterans. We've called out the Marines this morning. Called out the Marines. We always have them there. So thank you very much. Okay, now you can run through. Let's talk to our new viewers for just a couple minutes before we hit 9 o'clock. Show everybody all the ways you can contact the show. All right. If you're a new viewer this morning, and we talk to new viewers every single day because we have new viewers, and we thank you for tuning in. I want to thank the viewers we already have for calling people. We grow generically, not genetically. What the hell is wrong with me? I don't know what's wrong with me. We grow generically. Woo! I think that's right. But you are telling people, and they are telling people, and the show continues to grow, and we thank you very much. We have a lot of fun here, but we tackle the serious issues. We do. We make fun of them, but we don't make light of them, the serious issues. So we thank you. There are all the ways on social media for our new viewers. There's the phone number. You could text me anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have questions. If you would like to be a caller on the show, text me and say, hey, I'd like to know how to get on the show. We'll contact you. You want to send me an email. You are the research department. You hear this all the time. You are the research department. It was great getting up and having emails with questions for Congressman Doug Collins. Whether I could ask those pointed questions to the congressman, we did get some information from him this morning. I still keep those questions. I study to see if I can help find the answers. When you run across something and you're doing research out there, you send it to me. Right there's the address. So I will not, okay, I've already got messages. When will I start dismantling the shrine, okay? The media is upset because I won't live in their reality. I won't let the media tell me what reality is, and either should you, okay? So I've already got messages of when am I going to accept Biden as president-elect and take down my Trump shrine. That's what they call it. I have a mega poster here or flag. I have the nice flag. I want to thank the viewer that sent that to me. I have two flags here. I got to get them up. I've got the Blue Lives Matter flag. I've got a U.S. flag right behind here. I got to get up on the wall. Got my cowboy hat. Got that in Fort Worth, right? Yes. Has Fort Worth ever crossed your mind? Well, it did. That cowboy hat that day did that day in Fort Worth. I got a peaceful protest for a mega rally. I got my Trump Pence. Okay. Trump, make America great. My American flag. Over here, I have a lot of buttons. I have Clinton, Alan Keyes, McCain, Sarah Palin. I have a Mondale Ferrara button. I have a button here. Ross Perot, my Ronald Reagan calendar. So that being said, no, I don't intend to take things down. I always keep my Constitution right up front, and we call in the Marines when needed. So, boom, there you go. Now, I talked about, let's just go one more time. Okay. Give me number 9 just for a second. We just talked about people moving to Georgia. I want to just show you, give me number 9 there. What will Republicans do? Nothing. If you just joined us, you got to go back. I can't go into it right now, but we just took about 15 minutes to tell you, yes, they're planning to try to move to Georgia. Yes, move to Georgia to, and I have a article here. I thought I had an article here. Where is it at? Where is it at? Darn it. I want to say darn it. Got it here. Hang tight. There it is. Journalists, this is from Big League Politics, okay? And this came out yesterday, 18 hours ago. Journalists call for state residents from blue states to vote in Georgia's Senate election. Okay, that's right. Democrat presidential candidate Joe Biden appears to have won against incumbent President Donald Trump. Appears. But the political fight is far from over. Despite all the media hype surrounding the potential blue wave sweeping across Congress and the state houses nationwide, Democrats laid an egg. Now, this said, there lies the immediate challenge ahead. Georgia Senate seats are going to January runoff. Democrat challenger Jon Ossoff and Democrat challenger Raphael Warnock. There are calls. It looks like both Georgia races are going to a runoff. If Democrats win both, they control the Senate 50 plus the vice president. Now, what does that mean? 50 plus the VP. Always remember, the Senate is presided over. Who presides over the Senate? The vice president of the United States. That's exactly right. Who presides over the Senate? So if there's a 50-50 vote, the vice president casts the tiebreaker. Who would that be? Kamala Harris. So Biden legislative agenda is doomed if we lose. Before they spend money on TV ads, they better scour state for eligible but not registered voters. Deadline is November 7th. There's calls to pay unemployed New Yorkers to move to Atlanta. Why? No, they wouldn't do that. Democrats wouldn't hear of it. Why pay unemployed New Yorkers to move to Atlanta so they can vote? But they wouldn't take ballots out of the 63 boxes that are there in DeKalb and Forsyth or Fulton County. That there would be no shenanigans with that. All right, moving right along, let me get to some things there. They are upset that the President of the United States will not accept, and by him not accepting, will not accept Joe Biden as president-elect. Now, there's a couple good reasons. The election is not over, number one. Number two, it's not certified, okay? No one has certified the election results. Remember the Bush Al Gore, they act like, and we will show you, the media is actually crying. They're almost in tears, acting like national security. All of a sudden, they're interested in our national security. National security is at jeopardy because Trump's people won't let Biden's people in the door. Oh, the tears are coming from their eyes of how Joe is being disrespected and Joe is being acknowledged all over the world, except here at home. And because the globalists love Joe, okay? Joe is a globalist. They love him, all right? There's an embarrassment around the world. Once again, Donald Trump's embarrassed us. Peaceful transfer of power. Well, let me just say this, okay? Let's fly through some things and let me show you the reality they want you to be in. It's done for them. Donald Trump lost. Now, for the networks, going from ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, MSNBC, you name it, the Washington Post, New York Times, they have acknowledged not one, or they refuse to acknowledge one computer glitch. Don't talk about it. They refuse to acknowledge in Georgia that I am not going to come to you and lie and have overwhelming reports of people saying they went to vote and were told they already voted. Overwhelming reports. None. They're not going to talk about the trucks showing up at 9 o'clock at night with ballots after 7. And the boss saying, the truck driver saying, sorry, boss, there was traffic. I couldn't get here by 7. And then looked around and he said, What's the big deal? We're not going to count those till like 11:30 till everybody goes to bed. We're going to get America to go to bed, then we're going to count them. So it's not a big deal you weren't here by 11. By 7. We don't need those till America goes to bed. Not one talk. Now, it's out there of ballots being questioned, their address, ballots being questioned, the signatures, ballots being in question that only have Biden's name on them, period. It's out there, ballots that came in after Election Day. It's out there. But all they keep yelling is no proof, no proof, no proof. And when it's over, Joe Biden has the ballots. He has the count. I told you over and over, Joe does have the count. He does. It's just not accurate. It's just not correct. But that's what they say. That's their narrative. It doesn't matter. In 3 weeks, Joe will still, there's still votes coming in for Joe. Yes, they are. They're finding them everywhere. Desk drawers. Hey, boss, this box was in the cab. I forgot it. Didn't have room in the back. Bring it on in. Yeah, it's another 3,000. It was in the cab. I'm for sure I had it since 7 o'clock Tuesday night. Woo. No discussion. They're going after you and I because we won't accept the inevitable. We won't accept what they call the facts. Pompeo spun their heads off. We're going to go through very quickly pictures. Number 10. CNN, Republicans maintain wall of denial that Trump lost. Wall of denial. Now, I will tell you this, the mega, okay, there is something to be said. And let me just throw this out here. There's something to be said, and we want to watch for this. There's 71 million voters out there. Is it 70 or 71 million? That's a hell of a lot. 70 or 71, hell of a lot. Million voters out there voted for Donald Trump. That would make one hell of a political party tomorrow, okay? That would clear up Brian Kemp, Brad Raffensperger, Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan, and anyone else. That will clear their sinuses quickly. It'll be like a daggone jalapeno that they got stuck the wrong way, and they're going like this. That's exactly right. So Trump, maybe for some out there, there is probably a little truth that Trump is don't jump ship now, because I'm not going to stop. I'm going to get every constitutional challenge, and I'm going to show the American people how they cheat. The American people, if and when I leave here, the American people will know what kind of corruption took place in this election. So Trump is no quitter. So number 10. Is the State Department currently preparing to engage with Biden's transition team? They can't take it. I've got several with Pompeo. Pompeo did a great job. Yeah, we're preparing for the transition for the second term. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, he said second term. Can you believe that? Call Boris Johnson. Call Angela. Call the mayor of London, the little Muslim over there, and tell them that this guy is claiming there'll be a second term. Oh. The madness. I mean, seriously. Number 11. You ought to see them report it. Oh, did you hear what Pompeo said yesterday? I know we say we're news, but we're not. And if not, at what point does the delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk for national security? At what point poses a risk? What kind of risk are you taking? We got to tell the American people. Number 12, Republicans maintain wall of denial that Trump lost. Number 13, they're chasing down the senators. Republicans maintain it. They get Debbie Fisher, Republican of Nebraska, senator. Here's one. I'm going to go through a lot of them here. Here's one, number 14. This is Senator. This is Tom. Is it Tom Portman? Is that his name? Or Ron Johnson, right? Ron Johnson. Senator, have you congratulated Vice President Biden yet? Have you? Have you? Here's number 16. I might be out of order here, but Senator Ron Johnson with nothing to congratulate him about. What do you mean there's nothing to congratulate him about? Here we go. We go to the Never Trumper in PA. Pennsylvania, when I say one of the problems there, we know Tom Wolf is a Democrat. We know the Attorney General of Pennsylvania, Secretary of State of Pennsylvania, the Health and Human Services, the man that used to be a woman that's now a man that's a woman, that we don't know what the hell she is. But it's the Never Trumpers, okay? Number 18, Senator Toomey here, 18. I think a transition process ought to begin. I think we ought to let the deep state back in all these agencies to take a look around. Trump said no. Until Trump will acknowledge that he is president-elect, the transition does not go forward. They don't get to go into all of these agencies. They don't get to sit in the meetings. Biden does not get to, so he can call China and say, here's what we're doing. I don't trust Biden. I trust nothing about Joe Biden. So he doesn't get the presidential daily, security briefing. He doesn't get the daily briefing that the president gets. Once the transition starts, if there is a transition to another administration, there's a presidential daily briefing, and your president-elect gets a copy of that. So we're not prepared really to send that to the man-child, the boy up in Canada, and send it to China. Okay, here is number 19. That's why Mike was number 1 in his class at West Point. Secretary of State Pompeo outright denies the election results. There will be a smooth transition to the second Trump administration, driving them crazy. Okay. The laughter, number 20. If you would watch these networks, these superior intellectuals, they're superior to us. Yes. If Martians would come, these people feel they would find them, not you, because they would be looking for the superior race on Earth. The intellectuals, they feel they would be contacted by Martians first. Number 20, Pompeo refuses to acknowledge Biden's election when they're laughing it up. They yuck it up. Okay. Number 21, Trump White House directs agencies to move forward with 2020 budget. They're in awe. Trump told them to move forward with a 2022 budget, to move forward. Get to that one in a minute. Number 23, Biden projects calm and confidence despite Trump's obstructionism. He's calm. He's confident. You see, to be president-elect, there has to be a presumption that you have secured 270 electoral votes. We will show you Arizona is down to 0.4%. 0.4%. If you pull Arizona off the map, which many news agencies have, remember Fox manipulated this from the start. They did the 10 p.m. call Arizona, knowing today is Wednesday. Over a week ago, we would be, they did not know. If they come out and lie and say our calculations and what ballots are left out and where they're coming from, and our brilliant statisticians, is that what they are? Or I don't know, mathematical brainiacs, the ones that Martians would find first because they're superior beings. They have said there's no way Trump could overcome the numbers that Biden has. Well, what are we down to? 12,000 or something in Arizona with 2% still out, or 0.4%. All right. And they called it at 10 o'clock when just yesterday with like 74,000 votes that they were not able to steal, or the consolation prize. Is that what it is? In North Carolina went to Trump over a week later. So what I was saying there, I didn't finish my thought, is you are president-elect when there's the presumption that you have 270 unquestionable electoral votes. If you pull Arizona and you pull Pennsylvania and you pull Georgia off that map, And now you've given Alaska and North Carolina, and we don't know what will happen in Michigan, Wisconsin, or Utah or Nevada. If you pull those three, Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania off that map, Biden does not have 270. They've really jumped the gun here, okay? So number 23, he is patient. Number 24, how do you expect to work with Republicans if they won't even acknowledge you are president-elect? Oh, I will. I've talked to the deep state. The deep state said, we got this. I've been in contact with the deep state. They say, we got this. Oh, they will. They will. 25, Trump not conceding. Biden said it's an embarrassment. Why I'm embarrassed. It's embarrassment for the whole entire country. Number 25. You got 25 there. It's an embarrassment. Here she is. She's stunned. Number 26, Biden transition. There's no transition yet. There's no need for it. Trump tweets claims of victory, denies access and funding to Biden. Number 26, we are stunned. We're just stunned. He's denied access. This is the reality they say you have to live in. Now, if you notice, there's not one of these captions, not one of these pictures taken that addresses anything at all, okay? Anything at all that have to do with any kind of software, absentee ballot, fraud, dead people voting, nothing. It's just we won't accept what they told us it's over. We need to accept it. Number 27. Number 28. I just want you to see they just keep on and on. Okay. Number 29. Trump bans federal agencies from cooperating with Biden team. Why would you cooperate with Biden's team? They're corrupt. Why would you cooperate with this corruption? His team is corrupt. Number 30, Trump's stonewalling will not hinder transition. MSNBC. We're telling you we're going to move forward. Number 31, national security at risk. Let me say this. The media, these are pieces of SHIT. They are. National security at risk. Internal security, we don't give a rat's ass about. Now, we know here on Veterans Day that many of our young men and women left their life and limb and their blood on the sand of Iraq. So Iraqis could have free and fair elections. And they could cheer for the first time. You know, Saddam Hussein didn't win 99.9% of the vote. You know those phony elections around the world where the leader wins 99.9% of the vote and the opposing candidate is soon executed at the town square, so you never try it again. We sent our kids here on Veterans Day life, limb, blood on their sand so Iraqis could stick their finger in an inkwell and go outside by thousands and cheer and say, we got to vote in a fair, free election. So the concern is national intelligence, number 31, our national security, but our internal security, why they don't give a damn. Biden not getting intelligence reports because Trump officials won't recognize him as president-elect. Okay? Number 33, President-elect Joe Biden calls Trump's failure to concede an embarrassment. Okay? They won't go into detail. Let me give you this one, number 36. Department of Justice eyes GOP claims. Your claims. You're liars out there. You're the liars because you claim something that they know, the elite media knows is not true. So they look at us as a bunch of liars. DOJ eyes GOP claim of illegal votes in Nevada, Pennsylvania, as Trump refuses to concede to Biden. The Washington Post tried to run a story claiming the whistleblower out of Erie, PA, the U.S. postal worker, signed an affidavit saying it's not true. It never happened. But guess what? He came out and said the Washington Post just, refuted that. We'll play Project Veritas in our next segment, okay? I'm just going through the media's manipulation. Number 37, Trump campaign expands legal examination of votes. Not fraud, of votes. They love to show this every time they come back from break. Number 39, I don't want to upset you and get you sick to your stomach, but they love to show the check mark. Number 39 with Joe Biden. They love to show that, okay? Creepy ass Joe. 40, budget process moving forward. Well, he's moving forward with the budget. What is he planning? He's not going to leave? What the hell? 41, this is on MSNBC. I show you CNN and MSNBC because they're after the same thing. Reporter, if not, what point does the delay hamper a smooth transition or pose a risk to national security? To hell with internal security. To hell with that. 43, Biden transition hindered. White House escalates tensions. Orders agencies to rebuff Biden transition team. Number 44, the BBC. Boris Johnson and the guys over there. Biden, Trump refusal to concede an embarrassment. Now they're upset because Mitch McConnell will not call him president-elect. Number 45, some top Republicans back Trump's refusal to concede. They've gone after Mitch. Here is the look on her face, Casey Hunt, number 46, as she's trying to explain this. How dare them not live in our reality? Here is Roy Blunt. Is that his name? The senator from Missouri, number 47, top Republicans. We don't know that he lost. Oh, they are freaking out. Here's Ron Johnson. I showed you the CNN, MSNBC. They're all chasing these people down the hall. In fact, CNN put up a Senate hit list yesterday. You're going to be on it. You're going to be blacklisted. You are a villain. That's what they said yesterday on CNN, that you and I that will not accept the election will be moved over to a category of villains in this country. Not Black Lives Matter. You and I will be the villains. Not Antifa. You and I will be the villains. Oh, yeah, hell. They said it. Number 48. MSNBC. Senator, have you congratulated? Johnson's just like, no, I haven't. And then they asked him, why not? Why not? Number 49. Why not? Nothing to congratulate him about. They chased Shelby. Richard Shelby from Alabama, number 50. It hasn't been certified. I got nothing to say here. Number 51. Senator, did Vice President Biden win the election? We don't know yet. Rick Scott from Florida. Some top Republicans backed Trump's refusal to concede. Oh, that was number 52. So yesterday there was a press conference. It was hard hitting. I mean, it was riveting. It was like a Trump press conference. You know, the press conferences when you know Trump is, when you go to work and your boss says, hey, it's time to take your lunch break. No, boss, I hear Trump's going to be on at 3. Can I defer my lunch till 3? I want to watch this damn guy. He'll say any damn thing. He'll say any damn thing. I want to watch him at 3, boss. Can I do that? Sure. America that has scheduled their lunch break, all their personal time, around seeing Donald Trump come and kick some ass in the White House press room, while there was a riveting Trump-like press conference yesterday. Did you miss it with Joe Biden? It was his first. Number 55. So after this young lady got finished saying, Mr. President-elect, since you've been elected, have you been eating ice cream, and what kind? And do you double scoop it? And what kind of cone? Are you a waffle cone kind of guy or sugar cone? What are you kind of guy? So she got done with that, and he was like, well, you know, I got a waffle cone, and I share it with my German Shepherd. We sit there, and I go like this. He goes like this. It's enjoyable. What the hell? So then she asked the hard-hitting Biden, Trump stonewalling will not hinder transition. Mr. Vice President-elect, what will happen to the transition team? Why, if he doesn't accept you? Hard-hitting press conference yesterday. So let me go with this. Joe Scarborough, the piece of garbage, Morning Joe, they opened at 6 a.m. with a nice montage of peaceful transfers of power. Those golden days when a president won, preferably not from ballot harvesting, computer glitches, corruption in the middle of the night, okay? And the truck driver, back it on down here. I got a pallet jack for those ballots. Hey, it's 2 a.m. I must be lonely. Bring those in, right? So they did a montage of days less when we had, I don't know what it is, respect around the world. Number 69, all right? November 22nd, 1976. You see, it's only November 11th. We're doing recounts. We're looking at possible fraud and corruption across this country in our election system, which everybody should have the same interest in and want to get to the bottom of. Okay? Remember, the media, I say it over and over, you get tired. Listen to what they say. I listen for their words. It's vote count. They've got the vote count, folks. Where did they get it? Okay, so number 69 here, Jimmy Carter. That's Gerald L. Ford showing Jimmy around. Here's one, number 68, at 6 o'clock this morning, office visit. George H. Bush, welcoming William Jefferson Clinton, You see right there. And you know what Bush is saying to Clinton? Hey, when nobody's looking, I'll show you the back entrance JFK used to use on the White House. Nobody will see you coming in and out. Here is the group, number 67. I always say there's a assembled Morning Joe group to take down the president. Trump's refusal to concede is an embarrassment. Okay. And here's number 58. Here is Bush, Clinton, and here is 57. Here's where Jimmy Carter, invited Nancy and Ron to the White House. Remember the good old days, those peaceful transfers of power. And then we got Trump. Trump said, damn it, the corruption's over. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, what about the Washington Post lie? Okay, we will play that, the Washington Post lie, and we'll wrap up. We've got 30 minutes. We've got a lot to do, so don't leave.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is more than just your average Ace. We have a huge selection of Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next trip. We have a huge selection of lumber for your next building project. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs. Plus, we have everything you'd expect like paint, tools, and equipment.
Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
All right, folks, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics. A couple quick notes here. First of all, tell people how to get in touch with us, Emily. Thank you very much. Also put up number 1 there, Veterans Day. We thank each and every one of our veterans. I want to honor them on the show this morning, BKP Politics. You guys are amazing. I get text messages. I would like to brainstorm with you when you have a chance. I want to share some research that I have. I love my viewers. I love you guys. Hey, you might think it's a little what to say fans. The show has fans. We have more fans than Major League Baseball, right? I think there's more people that watch the show than the World Series. But I thank you so much for sending me notes about research. Let me get this one out from one of our viewers here. We're going to go with Tracy this morning. How about all those Hollywood people here making movies? Are they voting? I'm serious in Georgia. Tracy, great email. Thank you very much. We did a full segment on that earlier in the show. Are all of these people from Hollywood? Now, let's just say this, okay? Georgia brags, and I'm try to stay where I'm not ticking everybody off, all right? But Republicans in Georgia brag that for 7 years in a row, they'll say for 8 years in a row, for 7 years in a row, for 10, whatever. Georgia is the best place to do business, the number 1 state in America to do business. How's that working out for us, okay? You brought the movie industry in. You brag the billions it spends. Hollywood attacks us, the people in Georgia, and our values daily. They claim they're going to boycott the state and never work here again. We give them billions of dollars in tax breaks. And we'd kindly like to know if the Hollywood, okay, if they're making movies and they come in here and they're here for 90 days making a movie, but they don't live here, are they voting? Great email, Tracy. Now, remember the story earlier in the week that we talked about of Emily? I sent you a picture and I sent you a video. Remember the postal worker in Erie, Pennsylvania, okay? And he supposedly Project Veritas, all right? And the Washington Post and New York Times, they're working very hard to overturn or disprove any voter fraud. They're not investigating anything. Okay, Bob Woodward, got that great soundbite from the President of the United States that said, "I didn't want to panic America." And everybody, oh my God, the great investigative journalist Bob Woodward. No, folks, no. All right. So Washington Post, we have this young man from Erie, Pennsylvania, okay, a Pennsylvania postal worker who claims to have been cited by top Republicans as potential evidence of widespread voting irregularities, admitted to the U.S. Postal Service investigators that he fabricated the allegations, according to 3 officials briefed on the investigation and a statement from House Congressional Committee. This is what is said. Here is the tweet. Thank you. Postal worker admits fabricating allegations of ballot tampering, officials say. The Washington Post blew this up that this guy's nothing but a liar, that he heard and was told by his supervisor there, I think in Erie, Pennsylvania, to backdate any ballots that came in on the following day, Wednesday, Thursday, get the backdate stamp out to make it look like they came in on the day of election. So the Washington Post blew up everywhere, like laughing at Republicans. Oh, you're whistleblower. This is the kind of people you guys have coming out. So let's listen to the video, play the video, and let's see what the guy says for himself. Let's take his word for it.
My name is Richard Hopkins. I am the postal employee who came out and whistle blew on the Erie, PA Postal Service, postal office. I am right at this very moment looking at a article written by Washington Post. It says that I fabricated the allegations of ballot tampering. I'm here to say that I did not recant my statements. That did not happen. That is not what happened. And you will find out tomorrow. And I would like that the Washington Post recant their wonderful little article that they decided to throw out there out of random.
Huh. Well, I don't know who to believe. Why, this is a real Scooby-Doo kind of mystery machine. We need to get Shaggy and Scooby and all of them on this one, right? Richard Hopkins says, put the Post tweet up again. Says, he's asking them to take that down. He's asking them to take the article down. That's Richard Hopkins, Erie, PA. I don't know. I do not know what to tell you. Okay. So let's switch gears. I want to show you something. Okay. I said this and somebody's going to tell me. I know what you're going to tell me. I already know. I can hear it through the channel out there. I can hear it through the camera when you're yelling at me. It doesn't add up. That's all I want to do is find out why these $1 billion corporate media companies, where they come to their conclusion, are they in cahoots? Okay. Nothing like being in cahoots. Because give me number 65. And this is where you're going to say, damn it, if you tell us this one more time. Okay. But I'm going to, because we did live election night coverage. And I'm sitting there and Rick's got his glasses on. I always like, put some glasses. I know we're going to get something from the damn internet. So Rick's got his glasses on. He's looking down. He looks up real solemn and he says, I'm going to say it's 10 o'clock, 10:30 maybe. I don't know, right in that area. It's about the time. See, Fox, I say they're complicit. See, about the time that all 6 states, the 6 states that shut down counting at the same time, right? About that time is when Fox News made their move and called Arizona. So it's almost, I understand this is just theory, this is just talking out loud, but the media says I'm not allowed to think this way. The media says I'm not allowed to question this. Okay, now I'm going to go to my pictures here because I don't think I have it. I don't think I have it on the screen, but I want to see if I can find. Okay, so here are the states that simultaneously, within minutes of each other, shut down the counting. The counting. That Tuesday. Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, okay, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. They all shut down. Now, when they shut down, Trump was leading Pennsylvania by 57%. 57% to 41. Michigan, 54 to 44.4. Trump was leading. North Carolina, 50.1 to 48.7 was called yesterday. Wisconsin, 51.7, 46.8. Now, when all of these simultaneously shut down the counting, President of the United States came out at 2 o'clock in the morning and said, what happened? Well, what happened? I mean, we were counting ballots and what happened? Who turned the lights off? Right? But they didn't turn the lights off. That's when the trucks and the pallet jacks started running, right? But right before that, Arizona, that is now down to, okay, 0.4%. There is less difference in Arizona than there is in Georgia right now. Stay with me, okay? Now, something is, when I say bad wrong, something's bad wrong here. Because look at Georgia, number 62. Now, this is a state that shut down that night, stopped counting, and then started finding ballots for Biden's win. But right now it shows Biden up 14,149. How come Fox could not make the same calculations? How come Fox could not look that night? See, nothing adds up to me, okay? And I just question, how come Fox could not look that night at 10 o'clock and say, according to the ballots that have been counted, meaning Gilmer County, Pickens County, Paulding County, Walker County, Banks County, Jackson, the counties that uploaded their walk-in votes, and they're done. Once we do the math and we run the scenarios of votes to come from Fulton and votes to come from DeKalb and Clayton and Gwinnett and Chatham, we can determine that Joe Biden will overcome Trump and win Georgia. How can they do the mathematics in Arizona and let Fox? Now, there's something wrong. Fox called Arizona, and then all of a sudden, an hour later, ballots were shut down counting in these other states. Why? Arizona continued to count. They called it in the midst of a count. Now, others don't have it up there. There's a lot of others that still say Arizona's too close to call. Okay, but why did Fox do that? I'm telling you, we have to ask the questions of how we were manipulated. Number 65. Arizona, 0.4%. And the difference is only 12,813. Interesting. Okay? I'm not going to quite close with this, but I want to talk about this for a minute. Number 66. This is the runoff. Nancy Pelosi, although the Republicans had a good night for the House of Representatives and has narrowed the gap. Okay? Now, Democrats lockstep. They don't have Mitt Romney's. I'm telling you, I know what will happen. I mean, I'm not advocating physical harm. But somewhere in a back room at Democrat headquarters up there, Nancy Pelosi's office is either a wired up electric chair, guillotine, a torture chamber. I'm serious. Something happens. Because you go in Nancy's little frail office, little frail Nancy's office. She drinks 2 bottles of wine, knocks down a little cheese, smacks the SHIT out of you, and you walk out and you cannot see anything but Nancy's way. That's it. Something happens. Just does. So let me just say this for those of you that are excited that Republican gains in the House, I'm with you. But if they still have 5-seat majority, they got majority. You never have to worry again about a moderate Democrat, a Bart Stupak from Michigan. Look it up. You never have to worry again about a moderate Democrat shifting and them worrying about getting all their votes. So if they have control, let's say the deep state prevails and they have control of the House. You do not want a 50-50 Senate. If Biden, okay, and I've got a good closer on this, okay? If Biden gets control of the White House, Chuck Schumer gets control of the Senate with Kamala Harris being the deciding vote, and Nancy has control of the House, the filibuster will be gone. They will pack the courts. Don't listen to Joe Manchin. Well, Joe Manchin came out yesterday and he said he just does not have the appetite for packing the courts and ending the filibuster. Bull. Joe will go with them. Okay? You can't have it. You hear Democrats are going to move here. They're going to pour $250 million into these two races. Yes, just in one state. You have to get out. And I have a volunteer list. I have a volunteer checklist here to work off of that will get out. You have to get out and do everything you can to battle and make sure John Ossoff and Raphael Warnock are not elected in Georgia. You have to. You have to put a stop to that. There's no way, because let me tell you something. There's groups out there waiting for the big payback. Big payback. And let me tell you what that is. Go to number 5. We're going to close with this morning. Let me translate this. Black Lives Matter leader to Biden and Harris. We want something for our vote. Co-founder Patrice Cullors, is that her name? Wants to meet with the pair. They want a meeting with the pair to begin the immediate work, to begin the immediate work of black liberation. You see, they want to go in and say, you know what? We burnt the cities. We burnt the cities down. We caused riots. We gathered up enough money for you to buy and ballot harvest. We provided funds. We shook down the NFL. We shook down the NBA. We shook down Major League Baseball, NASCAR. We had Bubba Wallace say there was a noose in his garage and the FBI investigated it. We shook everything and everybody down. The money was flying into our organization. We funneled it to you to buy ballots. Yes, we burnt your cities down. It's everywhere you needed a riot. We made sure bricks were on every corner. Everywhere you needed a riot, we made sure our people side by side with Antifa were on the next plane to start a riot. We did everything we can to tear this country down. You owe us. Donald Trump told the American people if they were elected, Biden and Harris, that Black Lives Matter would run the White House. Black Lives Matter leader to Biden and Harris. We want something for our vote. Where did they learn that from? The domestic terrorist, as I call him, Al Sharpton? Let me see if there's anything else out here that, I will do it tomorrow. And I know somebody's going to say, if you tell us tomorrow one more damn day, well, I will do it tomorrow. I want to talk directly to the 9th Congressional District in Georgia. And if you're out there nationally, you want to listen. But I'm going to say this. We started the show with Congressman Doug Collins, who will no longer be a congressman in just about, 45 days. He will be unelected. He will not be holding an elected position in some time. But we started the day with Congressman Doug Collins, former congressman from the 9th Congressional District. The 9th District is, and you've heard it many times here, it is the 3rd most Republican voting district in the United States. That's right. Behind one district in Texas and one district in Kentucky. 3rd most Republican voting district in the United States. The number 1 Republican voting district in the state of Georgia. There's 20 counties, and although it's a rural district, it is packed. The population, the vote population has moved into the 9th district. It is packed with voters. Well, I don't see a big population. Wait a minute. Population versus voters. The 9th district, these people are voters. Loyal vote. They go and vote. Kemp could not be governor today without their vote. I'm telling you, without the 9th district vote, you don't win. And in a runoff election, okay, give me number 66. In a runoff election, the winner generally of a runoff is the candidates that can get their voters back out. Now, the thing is with these two races in the 9th district, David Perdue has to get his voters back out, and even in larger numbers, but they got to come back out in the 9th. Have to. In big numbers. But the problem with the other race is Kelly Loeffler not only has to get her numbers and voters back out in the 9th that voted for her, she has to get Doug Collins voters back out. Okay? So I've read everything. I have done stories here where Kelly Loeffler is concerned. But if you want to go against Kelly Loeffler, and you want to see Raphael Warnock put us in a position where Kamala Harris presides over the Senate and has the deciding vote. If you want to see every Biden nominee push through, if you want to see Mitch McConnell and have some hope push back on some real radical appointments to his cabinet and not confirm them, then if you hold these feelings against Kelly Loeffler, that's the risk you're taking. So Kelly Loeffler not only has to go into the 9th district and get her voters back to the polls, okay? She has to get Doug Collins voters back to the poll. So instead of me telling you that I endorse Kelly Loeffler for this race, let Doug Collins tell you he endorses Kelly Loeffler. Because on election night, that Tuesday, when Collins realized he would not have the votes necessary to overcome Loeffler and get a second spot for this runoff, he, Congressman Collins, went on social media, congratulated Kelly Loeffler, endorsed Kelly Loeffler, and asked you in the 9th district to get behind Kelly Loeffler. We'll have more to say on that tomorrow, Thursday. It's been a great show. Thank you very much. Show everybody one more time before we close how they can always contact the show. And we will see you 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, Thursday. We're out.